Here's a number, 75 cents. That's what it costs the Marine Corps to 3D print a landing gear door bump stop for an F-35 fighter jet. The part that would have required replacing the entire door assembly, a $70,000 procurement. It was printed, approved, and installed in a matter of days. For 75 cents, the plane flew. So here's what nobody talks about after a huge win like that. What do you do next? Because that result, as real as it is, was one part on one aircraft at one facility. The DoD has thousands of aircraft, dozens of ship classes, weapons platforms that have been flying and sailing since the 1960s, with parts that were never designed to be replaced this way. The question isn't whether 3D printing works. We're way past that. We know it works. The question is, how do you do that 75-cent win everywhere, safely, securely, and consistently across the entire Department of Defense? And that is what this video is all about. At Vision Miner, we work with engineers and procurement teams navigating exactly this same challenge, production-grade additive manufacturing where repeatability isn't optional. So when we follow what the DoD is building, we pay close attention. Here's what makes the scale problem interesting. By the time the DoD started writing policy around this, the results were already in. A 2019 Inspector General audit found that at least 81 depots, maintenance facilities, and field locations across the department were already using AM independently on their own. And the outcomes were hard to ignore. The Air Force was printing obsolete parts for the C-5 Super Galaxy, a plane that first flew in 1970 at roughly 5% of what traditional manufacturing would have cost. One pressure door handle alone showed a 95% cost reduction. The Army needed a hatch plug for combat vehicles, and the original vendor had discontinued the part. Traditional replacement, 3 months and 10 grand. With 3D printing, days at a fraction of the cost. Tinker Air Force Base saved $378,000 in a single fiscal year just from parts printed in-house. The Air Force printed cooling ducts for the C-17, cutting 9 months off the lead time with the potential to save $12 million over the aircraft's remaining service life. Marines who were deployed in the Indo-Pacific used field printers, and they improved their maintenance labor efficiency by 4 times. These weren't experiments, these were real outcomes happening across 81 different independent facilities. And that's exactly where the problem starts. None of those facilities were working from the same rulebook. There was no standardized way to collect or share or catalog technical data. There was no enterprise-wide visibility into who was printing what and with what material and validated to what standard. The Inspector General said it directly. Without that visibility, the DoD risks duplicating efforts. The same problem being solved on 40 different bases with 40 different results, and none of them were talking to each other. Now, that's the quiet part of this story. The technology was working, but the system underneath it was improvised. And when parts go onto aircraft and ships and combat vehicles, improvised doesn't quite cut it. So, in June of 2021, the DoD issued the DoDI 5000.93. This is the directive that formalized AM policy across acquisition, sustainment, and cybersecurity, all in one document. Now, what it really said was basically this. 3D printing is not a skunkworks project. It's a strategic manufacturing capability. Treat it with the same standards, governance, and security requirements as conventional manufacturing, or don't use it for defense applications. The Defense Logistics Agency, or the DLA, was assigned as the horizontal integrator for additive across the entire DoD supply chain. Now, here's what that actually means. The DLA manages Class 9 repair parts, the long tail of maintenance items that keeps weapons systems operational. Seals, brackets, connectors, handles, parts that might be out of production, down to a single supplier, or sitting on an 18-month lead time. Now that is the exact gap that 3D printing was built to fill. But printing critical repair parts for aircraft and ships is not really a print and hope situation. You need standardized equipment, standardized qualification, standardized data models. The DLA's role is building that ecosystem, not just producing the parts, but managing them reliably across decades of service. And this is where JAMMEX comes in. The Joint Additive Manufacturing Model Exchange. It went live back in January of 2020, built by the DLA in partnership with military services. It started with 3 repositories: the Marine Corps, the Army, and the Special Operations Command. It's since grown to 9. Think of it like a secure digital library for approved part files, like the GrabCAD or Thingiverse of the military. When one facility validates a model for a given part, that model goes into JAMMEX. Every other qualified facility can now access it and print from it without having to start from scratch. That eliminates duplicate development, reduces variability, and turns additive from a collection of independent wins into a connected logistics capability. Now, here's where it gets serious fast. If your manufacturing capability is tied to digital files, those files become a target. A corrupted model produces a defective part on an aircraft. An intercepted file exposes weapons systems design data. A compromised supply chain means parts that passed inspection but weren't built to spec. The DoD's digital engineering strategy introduced the concept of digital thread. Think of it like a connected chain of data linking design, production, quality control, and lifecycle maintenance in one traceable line. When it's intact, you can follow any part all the way back to its origin. When that data is either fragmented or unprotected, then you don't have digital manufacturing. You have digital manufacturing risk. Cybersecurity in AM is not a checkbox. It's built into policy at the DoD level now. That's something that we think about when we spec systems for customers. The 22 IDEX is built around controlled, repeatable processes, stable thermal environments, open validated materials, consistent output. If you're building towards qualification requirements at this level, process stability is where you start, and not something you go and you add at the end. And here's the number that puts all of this into perspective. DoD spending on additive manufacturing was $300 million in 2023. It hit $800 million in 2024. It's projected to reach $2.6 billion by 2030. That's not a trend, that's a commitment. The Department of the Navy published its first advanced manufacturing strategy in December of 2024, calling these technologies critical to maintaining maritime dominance. The National Defense Industrial Strategy identified industrial-based resilience as a national security priority. Distributed digital manufacturing, the ability to print a validated part locally without waiting on supply chain that may or may not be intact, that's a direct response to that. Now, this isn't a story about printing parts. It's a story about a country deciding that it needs to manufacture under any conditions, at any location, with any level of supply chain disruption in play. Now, if you're in 3D printing, whether you're a defense contractor, a depot engineer, or supplier working towards qualification, or just someone paying close attention to where the industrial manufacturing is going, then this infrastructure is being built around you right now. The policy is in place, the investment is accelerating massively. I was just at Rapid TCT and sat in on a few panels. It's really going. And the standards, they're rising fast. So head over to visionminer.com to see our production grade 3D printing systems and talk to our team directly. Just give us a call, shoot us an email. We help engineers and businesses navigate exactly these conversations every single day, and our 22 IDEX is built with the military in mind. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. Leave a comment below, and as always, have a positive rest of your day. I'll see you on the next video.